Hello everybody and welcome back, and right now what I want to show you is how you can actually bypass some of the antivirus with our reverse shell. Now let's see, or basically our backdoor that we already coded. So go to your reverse shell directory. As you can see right here, I've got my reverse shell.py. It is the same code that we used in the backdoor coding section. As we can see right here, everything is the same. We got all of our available options right here, our shell function, rival send, and so on and so on. What we want to do right now, first of all, let me tell you this thing. Basically adding functions to your reverse shell that actually do nothing. For example, not that they literally don't do anything, they don't do anything useful for the reverse shell functions, such as adding numbers, such as multiplication, division, and so on and so on. Just basically some random functions here and there can help you actually prevent some of the antiviruses from detecting your reverse shell. Now you might be asking, how does it do that? Well, basically what antiviruses do is they simply compare the code to their database, and if the code matches or if the hash value matches to the virus in their database, they will detect it as a virus. But if you change the code a little bit, add some functions that don't do anything here and there, switch up the code, switch up some of the bytes, you have a good chance of bypassing most of the antiviruses. Now the best ones, of course, it will be really hard to bypass, such as Bitdefender, but at a certain point I created basically a backdoor that actually isn't detected by any antivirus. Then they started getting used, and basically now like 3 out of 70 antiviruses detected or something like that. It doesn't even matter, it's still a really small number. If you create a backdoor that is actually only detected by 3 out of 70 antiviruses, you have a good chance at bypassing most of the target systems. So if you want to, you can just add simple functions that don't do anything right here, or basically anywhere else, and you can use them somewhere in your programs. The good example would be this function right here. So this is a function that doesn't have anything to do with our program, I just added it there. It can be useful to bypass some of the antiviruses. So that is one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is, first of all, compile the program. So we use wine root.wine drive c python scripts pyinstaller, and then you use the reverse shell.py, no console, and what was the other option? I forgot. So no console and one file. You compile the program, and then you open the .exe version of that file, or basically your backdoor, into the hex editor, and you try to switch as many bytes as you can without actually making the reverse shell not work. So basically I will show you right now, as soon as this compiles right here. It is compiling currently. Then we will open our backdoor in the hex editor, and we will actually try to switch some of the values. So right here, if I go to this directory where my reverse shell.exe is, and I simply just open it in the hex editor, so hex editor and then reverse shell.exe. This is the command that you have to specify in order to open it in hex editor. So click here, enter, and right here we get our file basically in the bytes. So here we have the hexadecimal values of all of our instructions. Most of the instructions are basically in assembly. So for example, let me just find it right here. This is a simple exe structure right here. Every exe file that is run in Windows will have this string right here. This is most common string to actually change in all the viruses in order to bypass some of the antiviruses, but it is so known that I don't even think it works anymore, since everyone who actually watches any videos knows that in order to actually change some values, they can change this value, and the actual binary of the .exe file will be different than the one in the database. So you can start off by actually changing this, so make sure you are at the same line, because if you actually switch a byte that you shouldn't have switched, your entire program will not work. So make sure that you're in the same line. I believe I am in the same line. Oops, I'm one line lower, so I can go just at this byte 54. I believe it is for T. So if I change it, as you can see, you can only use A, B, C, D, E, F and numbers 1 through 9. So you can just spam all the numbers until you actually change the entire string. So, whoops, I went to the part right here. I just want to go back right here. Let me just find out how I can exit this. So, right here. Okay, so you just continue to change this, so change it to anything you actually want, and then make sure to change the lower part as well, so just spam random numbers and letters, and then in DOS mode make sure to stop at E, and you successfully switched this program cannot be run in DOS mode string with the random bytes. But this is not the only thing that you can actually change. There are other strings here as well. This part right here cannot be changed, so don't change PE. This text right here, you can change it, so you can go down here. Let me just find the line. Not really sure if it is this one. 5. It is this one, so okay. You just go right here, make sure to skip the first byte and start from here. As we can see, I changed the T successfully just by typing here A. You can also change this, basically C, 1, 2, and T is the last digit, or pardon me, last string you can change. So we also change the text part. Let us go down here. Also change the data part. So just find data right here. Let me just find it. It is this line, I believe, or the upper line. Yeah, it is this one. Go to the data, or it is actually this one. Let me just check it. Okay, so here is the data. Again, change it. Don't make sure to not pass the last letter. So this is about it. And you change a few strings right here. Make sure to not change this part of the code, since we do not know what it is. We changed a few strings, so these two strings we changed. We also changed this part right here, and we are good to go. So right now you can actually Control O to save this, file name to write, reverse shell, and then exit. And now let us plug in our USB drive in order to see if we correctly change the hex values of some bytes and see if it will still be able to run. Now, if it can't run, if it prints out some error, that means we actually changed the byte in our hex editor that we shouldn't have changed. So let us see. Move reverse shell to the media, root, and then Kali live. Now we can actually delete all of this. So, oops. Let me see, what else do we need to delete? We can delete the test.txt and the screenshot. And right now we can run our server. Let us unplug the USB drive. And let us right now try to run our reverse shell. So go right here, find your reverse shell, here it is, and then I run it right here. As we can see, it didn't print out any error, so it means that this actually works. If we get the shell back, it works 100% since we didn't get any error, and we are able to execute commands on target PC. So, and with this that you actually did with the hex editor and with adding some of the functions that make no sense, basically you can bypass most of the antiviruses. So for example, if you just type here who am I, ipconfig, you can see we have a working shell. We changed bytes, but make sure to only change the bytes that are actually a string. If you change the bytes that actually run the code, it will not work. So that will be about it for the bypassing some of the antiviruses. Now the more you use this and the more people actually use this backdoor, it will get uploaded on the VirusTotal, and once it gets uploaded on the VirusTotal, basically this shell will also be flagged as virus by any antivirus company. So make sure to always switch it up, change some functions, change different code. Basically that will get you the best results you can. Now also one thing, the PyInstaller library in Python is also flagged by most of the antiviruses, but not by most, but like Bitdefender flags PyInstaller as a virus. Basically, if you were to, for example, create a simple program, so let me show you. If I just open my Bitdefender, I put my Bitdefender to be to run, as we can see right now, it is your device is not at risk, failed to activate protection. Please retry. Okay, so your device is now protected. Not really sure what that error was. Now let me show you if we nano actually test.py user bin python, and we just print, let's print hello world. We just print this, which obviously this isn't a virus, but the Bitdefender antivirus will actually flag it as a virus just because it used PyInstaller in order to compile. Now it is only, I believe, Bitdefender and F-Secure. All the other antiviruses will not flag this program as a virus. So you will be good to go in any case that the target has anything except Bitdefender and I believe F-Secure or something like that. So let us see if this will actually get flagged as an antivirus, as a virus, pardon me. So we find the command for the compilation. We just find it right here, and we compile the test.py. So let's let this compile. Shouldn't take too long. Basically our program is a single line that will print hello world. And right now if we plug in our USB drive once again, copy the file to there. Now we go to the dist, move test.exe to media, root and Kali live. Unplug this. We don't have to run anything right here, we only need to run the program. Let me just find it where it is. Not this. Our Bitdefender, oh, it's right here, is running, so let us run right now. Test.exe. Windows cannot access the specified device path or file. You may not have the appropriate permission to access the item, which basically means it already deleted the item because it flagged it as a virus. As you will see soon enough, I believe right here it will pop up threat blocked or something like that. So let us see how long that will take. It should basically show us any second that it actually deleted that file. As we can see, if we try to run this, we cannot run it. Let me just close this as well. And here it is. On access, item was deleted, threat name, test.exe. So PyInstaller basically gets flagged as a virus by basically anything you code will be flagged as a virus if compiled with PyInstaller, if you use Bitdefender or F-Secure. So that will be about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!